second graders, we are going to be talking about another story. However, if you have not read the story called Not Norman yet, we want you to pause the video, read the story, and then come back to do this lesson so that you know the story and you'll be able to answer the questions as we go along with them. So Mrs. Grant and I have already read the story, Not Norman. Is it one of your favorites, would you say?
It's so good. I love that story.
It's a pretty cute one. So Not Norman is the story about a little boy who finds a friend in his goldfish, right? So we're going to talk about that, and we have another chart just like the one that we did yesterday, and we're going to be filling out the character, the setting, and the events. So just to recap, the character is going to be the people or the, sometimes they're even animals that are in the story. In this case, I think we need to know that it could be an animal. The setting is going to be where the story takes place, and the events are going to be all the important things that happen throughout. So let's go ahead and get started with the characters. Mrs. Grant, who do you remember being in the story?
Obviously Norman the fish.
Yeah.
He's named in the title.
So let's go ahead and write Norman, and I think I'm going to write in parentheses, he's a fish. He's still a character,
Yeah.
even though he's a fish. And there was a little boy in the story, but I don't remember them having a name for him.
Let's just say the boy.
Yeah, sometimes if you can't remember, or sometimes the author doesn't even tell you, you could just write the boy. He's a character in the story, and he's pretty important. We have the boy. Anyone else?
Well, there were quite a few more characters, but I don't think they played a significant enough role to list on our character sheet.
Yeah, like I remember there being a class full of students and there was a teacher,
Yeah.
but I would say the majority or most of the story takes place between Norman and the boy.
Yeah.
All right, so that means we can talk a little bit about the setting, and I think just like last time, the setting seems to switch. It changes a little bit from one place to another throughout. What is one place that the story took place in?
Well, it took place at his house. Quite a bit of the story took place at the boy's house.
Okay, so let's go ahead and write the boy's house. I'm going to use that apostrophe S there to show that it's a house that belongs to the boy. So we have the boy's house, but didn't it also take place at school?
It did.
Okay, so we could also write school. That would be the boy's school. And I want to say there was even one other place.
Yeah, he went to the pet store at the end again, like he said he was.
Yeah. So the pet store. Awesome. All right. Wow, we're doing a lot of work for the kids already. So I think
Yeah.
when we get to the events, you might have noticed that I numbered it 1, 2, and 3. Why don't we talk about that, and maybe we'll just help them out a little bit.
Yeah. So just like we talked about yesterday, when we're focusing on the events, we want the 3 big main things that happened in the story: the beginning, the middle, and the end. So even though Miss Marquardt and I are only going to write down the first event, we're going to talk about, and we want you guys to write down, a second and a third event. And you don't have to put your numbering in the same spot as we did. I might even run out of room and need to continue down here. So if you need to put 1, 2, and 3 further down the page, that's fine. So talking about the beginning of the book, if I go back in my memory to where Not Norman began, it is with the boy getting his fish and realizing that this was not the pet he had always dreamed of. He wanted something cuddly and furry that he could lay in bed with and maybe play catch with and do things like that, but he ended up getting a goldfish that he didn't really want.
Yeah.
So maybe we can say that he wasn't happy with his pet goldfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
He was not happy with his pet goldfish. Okay, so let's discuss, though we will not write it down, but you will, something that happened in the middle of the book, maybe when he got to school.
Oh, well, I remember him getting to school, and weren't they doing a show and tell? And they had other animals that everyone was talking about and sharing, and wasn't there a little issue
Yeah,
that
one
happened?
thing that sticks out in my mind is when the snake got loose.
Yeah, that gives me like nightmares.
Yeah.
Because I don't like snakes, and if a snake got loose in my classroom, it wouldn't be very pretty.
It's kind of unrealistic because I don't think there's ever going to be a time in your life where your school allows you to bring your pets for show and tell.
No, not with these teachers.
No.
Mm-mm.
So maybe they could put for the event number 2 that a snake got loose in the classroom.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
not? That's
Yeah.
an important event for
Yeah.
sure. It's not the only thing that happened in the story, but I think it's important enough. But it seems like even though we talked about how at the beginning he wasn't really happy with his pet goldfish, by the end of the story those feelings seem to change.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the students could write down at the bottom to talk about that?
I think that he realized how much he cared about Norman. And something he said at the end was that he wouldn't trade Norman for any other pet in the world. I think I would write that for number 3.
Yeah.